Hello, everybody. How's it going? It's been a while since I've done a live, but I think it was about 8 months ago. Um, God gave me a word and I shared a word on Facebook about all the airlines and the planes and how we should really be praying for them, and because I just saw that things breaking, and really what the Lord showed me was like that there was a lot of planes that needed to be fixed, and there's some things which were going on where people were not willing to spend the money necessary to fix these planes, and that we're going to be seeing like a lot of things like crashing and planes crashing and stuff like that if these things don't get fixed. And so now I've started to read a lot of articles of planes and how they're having to like fix things and make sure and check that. And some people are just like, there's some planes which have just crashed just recently. Um, you know, so I'm doing this so that we can pray. Like I want to pray. I don't want to see anybody, any plane crash at all. I want to pray right now that whatever needs to be fixed on these planes would be fixed, that they would catch it ahead of time, and that they would be willing to spend the money to fix these things that are on the planes. And this is really important because I really saw like a huge, it wasn't just one airplane crashing. I saw several airplanes crashing. And it's very clear that this word is from the Lord, that like if they don't spend the money on these, and I felt my heart, that was one of the things. It's like some of these issues are known, but it costs a lot of money to fix, and so they're not necessarily fixing them. And sometimes, unfortunately, people can be like that, where they literally wait until there's real accidents which happen before it moves them to do something. Well, we don't want that, right? We want them to be proactive instead of reactive. We want them to be proactive instead of reactive. We want them to find out what's wrong with the different airplanes and fix it before people die on the planes, before planes crash, and then they begin to react. Like, we don't want that to happen. And so we need to pray. Wherever you are, if you're taking planes, you should take some time to pray before you get on the plane. And pray over your airport that you're by, and pray for them. And if you're somebody which is working for an airline which is watching this, make sure you communicate with them, that make sure that they check the plane, and make sure that they check every area in the plane. They check the wheels. They just make sure that everything is working properly. And this is not something just to scare everybody not to fly. But this is something that's it's true. Like, it's true. The Lord gave me the word last year, and now I'm starting to see articles and different things on it. And people are ending up, I don't know if you've seen the different planes which have crashed or had to make emergency landing so far. And so what we want to do is, if you can come in agreement with me right now in prayer, and we're just going to pray that they would be proactive instead of reactive. Okay, so let's join in prayer together right now for these airplanes, and just pray that everything goes smoothly, and that any problem is caught, and that they're willing to spend this money. Like, what is money compared to people, right? Like, so that they're willing to spend the money that's necessary so that people can be safe, and that greed was one of the things that I saw. I felt like there was a lot of greed that was involved, and reasons why people weren't willing to spend money to fix the problems that a lot of them know. They know that there's issues and they know that there's problems, but they won't. And so I'm praying that God would expose those people which know that there's issue and that there's problems, if they don't want to fix it. And if they want to risk people's lives, I'm praying that God would expose them wherever they are, they would be exposed so that people can be safe, and family members don't have to be concerned or worry about their families going on planes, or they themselves going on planes. So pray with me right now, okay? Let's touch and agree in Jesus' name that God is going to do something.
I'm not here today because I want to be here. I'm here today because I felt that I must come forward, because I do not want to see another 787. I do not want to see 787 or 777 crash. I have serious concerns about the safety of the 787 and 777 aircraft, and I'm willing to take on professional risk to talk about them. I have analyzed Boeing's own data to conclude that the company is taking manufacturing shortcuts on the 787 program that may significantly reduce the airplane safety and the life cycle. Since 2013, there have been serious issues on the 787 program, not properly closing thousands of gaps in its assembly of the fuselage on major joints. Boeing's standard says that these gaps must be closed, usually by a small shim or filler called a shim when they exceed 5 thousandths of an inch. Details are that the size of a human hair can be a matter of life and death. In a rush to address its bottlenecks in production, Boeing hit problems pushing pieces together with excessive force to make them appear that the gaps don't exist, even though they exist. The gap didn't actually go away, and this may result in premature fatigue failure. Effectively, they are putting out defective airplanes. I found gaps exceeding the specification that were not properly addressed 98.7% of the time. I want to repeat that. 98.7% of the time, the gaps that they were supposed to be shimmed, they were not shimmed. As a result, I witnessed severe misalignment when the planes were assembled. Boeing manufacturing used unmeasured and unlimited amount of force to correct the misalignment. And this also weakens the airplane in the long run. I literally saw people jumping on the pieces of the airplane to get them to align. I call it the Tarzan effect, among other improper methods. Again, I raised concerns internally